world waits for the miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh, come, Emmanuel. A child prays for peace on earth, and she's calling out from a sea of hurt. Oh, come, Emmanuel. And can you hear the angels singing? Glory to the light of the world. Glory to the light of the world is here. The trial breaks with the tears of a mother. A baby's cry is the sound of love. Come down, Emmanuel. Here's the song for the suffering. Here's Messiah, the Prince of Peace has come. He has come, Emmanuel. Glory to the light of the world. 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 For all who reign, for all who hunger, for all who pray, for all who die. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel, Glory to the light of the world. Glory to the light of the world. Glory to the light of the world. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel. The world waits for the miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh, come, Emmanuel.
We've got to do something.
I agree.
We've got to start on time.
I agree.
We can't keep the audience waiting.
I agree.
Oh, this is so unprofessional.
I agree. Even though none of us ever claimed to be professionals.
Maybe not, but to keep the audience waiting, you've got to do something.
Me?
Yes. Go out there, ad lib, improvise. Keep them busy while we're waiting.
How did we have to do something suddenly turn into I have to do something?
Well, because you're the witty one.
I'm the what?
You're the witty one. You've got the gift of the gab. I'm the deep thinker. She's...
The one who isn't here yet?
Yeah, the one that isn't here yet is the absent-minded one. And you are the witty one.
Thank you, I think.
So?
So?
Do something! I can't take this waiting. I'm so nervous. And if I'm anxious, how do you think the audience is going to feel?
Calm down. Deep breaths. That's right. Keep breathing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mums and dads, grands and granddads, aunties and uncles, cousins and cousins.
What are you doing?
Improvising, like you said. Where was I? Oh yes. Cousins and cousins.
Seriously?
Thank you for coming to see the 2020 Dundee Nativity. We are so excited that you are here, and we're equally excited to present this year's Nativity. Unfortunately, one of our cast members...
The one who isn't here yet.
One of our cast members...
One with no sense of time.
One of our cast members...
The one who never misses an opportunity to be late. Always wandering around with her head in the clouds. Of course, we are playing the Magi, so wandering around with your head in the clouds kind of makes sense. But to be late for a performance...
Do you want to do this?
No. You're doing fine. Carry on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to say that one of our cast members
is late, but here. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm late, but it was not my fault. I got caught in the middle of a Santa dash.
You got what?
I got caught in the middle of a Santa dash.
How is that even possible?
I am serious. Right there on the high street. It was terrifying. Don't laugh. Jolly old St. Nicholas can be quite terrifying when he's multiplied by hundreds. Do you know how frightening it is to see a wall of red suits and white beards descending upon you, enveloping you in a sea of huffing and puffing, trainers pounding on the pavement, and the jingle of Christmas music playing over and over and over again? They carried me along with them for a few blocks before I even realized what was happening. And then, when I tried to weave my way through them, the health and safety people standing on the pavement wearing their appropriately festive red hazard vests would yell at me through their megaphones, 2 meter distance, 2 meter distance. I couldn't understand what they were saying at first. They had 2 face masks on. One over their mouths, and one over the opening of their bull horns. At first, I thought, oh, they're cheering the Santa Dashers on. Little did I realize they are trying to maintain social distancing in the middle of a Santa Dash. It was 10 blocks later and half an hour before I could finally weave my way through them to the other side of the street.
Well, you're here now, and the audience is waiting, and we're all set. So let's begin the show. You're here. The audience is waiting. So let's begin the show.
I'm not sure I'm up for this.
What?
I'm not sure I'm up to this. I'm not sure they're up to this.
What's the hold up? Why aren't we beginning the play?
She doesn't think she's up for it.
What are you talking about?
COVID and Christmas. Can the two really exist together? Can you maintain COVID restrictions while celebrating a time of togetherness? Can you celebrate the joy of Christmas in the midst of COVID-19?
We can adjust.
Well, we've spent all year adjusting. Surely we know how to adjust by now.
We can wear face masks.
Yeah, they have special face masks now with Santa beards, complete with little red nose.
We can have virtual Christmas dinners.
Yeah, everyone buy the same food, cook it at the same time, set it out around the table, and we can all sit around our laptops, our iPads and iPhones.
Imagine mobiles finally allowed at the dinner table.
I hear there's even an app for a virtual Christmas cracker.
We can party outside.
Outside? In Scotland? In winter?
I'm a Scot. I don't let the weather stop me.
It's not just that. Look at the year we've been through. Lockdowns and shutdowns, furloughs and redundancies. Businesses are closed, jobs have been lost. Family and friends have been isolated from one another. Many have been sick and suffered and died. The pain is real. The grief is real. And the fear is real. And the uncertainty. That's the worst part of all. No one can say when any of this is going to end.
One can. The one that we celebrate at Christmas.
That's why we need to do this. Why this nativity is important. For them. For us. To remind us of the why of Christmas. That Christmas, the real Christmas, can give us hope in this grief and pain. Look at our grandparents and great-grandparents. Those generations before us who faced wars and pandemics and financial collapses. Somehow they found hope. Or we wouldn't be here. They found hope. And so can we.
I told you were the witty one. Come on. Take a moment. Hey, take two. Remember the why, and let's get ready.
Curtains going up. See you on stage.
Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? Why have you gone away? Where is the laughter you used to bring me? Why can't I hear music play? My world is changing. I'm rearranging. Does that mean Christmas changing?
I'm going up. Places, please.
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night, with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace, one mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold, let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say. Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say. The child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light.
That's it!
What's it?
That explains it.
What explains what?
The King's proclamation. The baby, the new star. What we've been studying, what we've been discussing.
The ancient scrolls of our people.
The histories.
The prophecies.
Promises made by God that would one day come true. Promises in Isaiah.
And Daniel.
And Numbers.
The promise of a star.
Promise of a time.
The promise of a baby.
Born in Israel
To rule on
David's throne.
Hang on a minute. How did you get from the new star in the sky to a child born king in Israel?
How could you not?
Because she has been wandering around with her head in the clouds, focusing on the star, while we have been studying the prophecies, looking for answers.
I have simply chosen to enjoy the wonder of the miracle rather than labour to explain it away, to make the once in a lifetime become an everyday occurrence, to make a miracle not a miracle, a phenomenon we can measure and calculate and explain according to our brilliant intellect. I prefer the brilliance of the mystery. There are some things that only the heart or the faith of a child can truly understand.
You are right. And we don't want to take away from the mystery. But this mystery is connected to a promise given by God. Long before our people were brought to Babylon in captivity, God had a plan He had revealed to our people through the prophets of old.
A prophecy in Numbers connects this new star to a king in Israel. I see him, but not here. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall crush the forehead of Moab, and it will break down all the sons of Sheth.
And the prophecies in Isaiah tell us who this king is going to be. Look, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son. She shall call him Emmanuel, God with us.
See, your Saviour comes. A shoot shall sprout from the stump of Jesse.
Unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given. And the government shall be upon his shoulders. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. He will rule on David's throne and over his kingdom forever.
And Daniel has given us a time.
From the time our people were allowed to return to Jerusalem by Cyrus, so that we could rebuild the temple, until the coming of the Anointed One shall be 7 sevens
and 62 sevens.
7 sevens and 62 sevens. When in the world is that?
Well, I did a quick bit of calculating.
A quick bit of calculating.
Yeah, well, it took me a day and a half, but 7 sevens and 62 sevens is now.
From the baby to the tiny to the star. These are mysteries, but they are mysteries and miracles planned by God.
So, let's follow this miracle of a star to the miracle of a baby.
A baby born king.
We 3 kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. O star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again, king forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign.
O star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, prayer and praising, all men raising, worship him, God most high. O star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
And they're in the same country, shepherds,
That's us.
keeping watch over their flocks.
That's them. And these and those.
By night,
Quiet night.
usually is,
Nothing much happening.
never is.
There was that one night.
That was special.
Oh, sure was.
Quite a night.
Bright lights
Beautiful music.
and angels
Telling us about the baby,
born in Bethlehem
bringing peace to all peoples.
and giving us a sign
so we could find him
wrapped in swaddling cloths.
lying in a manger,
And we found him
in a stable,
because there was no room at the inn.
with his mother and father lying in a manger.
Hang on. The baby was lying in the manger, not the mother and father. That would look ridiculous. Mom and dad in the cot with the baby. Pah!
And we worshipped him.
And left rejoicing.
And now it's quiet again.
All back to normal.
Just like before.
Except for the memory.
And the experience.
The joy.
The joy of that baby. And that star.
That sure is kind of bright for a star.
Not a normal star.
No, not a normal star at all.
Kind of odd.
Real odd.
I wonder if it's a sign.
I wonder if it's the angels.
Come back to us.
Just like before.
Come back to tell us more.
They're coming!
Who's coming?
I don't know.
Is it the angels?
I don't think so.
Why not?
They're riding camels!
Do angels ride camels?
I don't think so. They're wearing royal robes.
Do angels wear royal robes?
I don't think so. They're wearing crowns.
Do angels wear crowns?
I don't think so. Halos maybe, but not crowns. I don't think they're angels.
How can you be so sure?
Because I'm pretty sure the angels don't look like that.
No, those are definitely not angels.
Greetings, shepherds.
We are Magi on a pilgrimage.
To find a newborn king.
I am Balthazar.
I am Caspar.
I am Melchior.
Kind of funny sounding names.
You're not from around here, are you?
Not with names like that.
No. Around here, we have good, solid, simple names.
Names like Jacob.
And Sarah.
And Abraham.
And of course we have the Davids. Such good name, David.
He was a shepherd, you know.
A shepherd whom God anointed as king.
Each family has one. Or two. This is my David.
And this is our David.
And my two Davids, David 1 and David 2, father and son.
We see what you mean.
Pleased to meet you, David.
Greetings, David.
And to you, David.
And that's why we're here.
We are Magi from the east.
Star searchers, following a star.
I just knew that star was special.
We are looking for a son of David, as the prophet Isaiah foretold, a shoot from the stump of Jesse.
We are looking for the child-born king who will forever rule on David's throne.
I don't suppose any of you have a throne?
Alright, calm down. Let's hear their story and then we'll tell them ours. Now, where did you come from?
King Herod.
Now. May the Lord keep King Herod in his palace and far away from us.
Amen. May the Lord bless King Herod and make his sons and daughters as ordinary as him.
Amen. May the Lord gift King Herod with the fleas of 1,000 camels, all nesting in his armpits.
Amen.
Okay, now, why did you go there?
All we knew was the star.
And the baby.
And the king.
I really thought we had found him. I really thought that Jerusalem was the place. That's where the star led us. And when we arrived, the star disappeared.
The star disappearing made sense to me that our journey had come to an end. Jerusalem is where King Herod lives, and a baby born king must be the baby of a king.
Wrong king.
It's not just any king you seek.
It's the one true king you're after.
We know that now. King Herod knew nothing of the newborn king. No one in the city of Jerusalem knew. King Herod had to get his scribes to search the scrolls for an answer. They found it and read it to us from the prophet Micah. But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, are the smallest village in Judah, yet from you will come a ruler of Israel whose origins are from the distant past.
So King Herod sent us on our way with a promise to tell him when we found the baby.
And when we left the palace, the star reappeared.
And led us here.
So, if you know where he is, please tell us, so we can honor him as king with our gifts. Gifts of gold.
And frankincense.
An antibacterial hand wash, myrrh scented, because washing your hands is the best way you show you care.
We know the child you seek, for we sought him too. Let us tell you our story.
Of a quiet night.
And a legion of angels. And a promised king.
Come to us, come to all.
Wait a minute, I have an idea. Let's get the children to tell the story. After all, the promise is for them too.
Yeah, they can play the angels. If you want to play an angel, just ask your parents for some tinsel from your Christmas decorations and use it for a halo.
And they can play us. If you want to play a shepherd, you'll need a towel for the sheep headdress, place it on your head, tie it with ribbon, string, or a headband.
And they can play them, and these, and those. And if you want to be a sheep, just... bah.
And they can ring bells. Wait a minute, ring the bells? Who said that? That was mine. I heard bells. Did you hear bells? So they can ring bells.
Where are they going to get bells?
Well, they could get their parents' keys. Like this. They sound like bells when you ring them. When he shakes them like that.
Okay.
Ask your parents for their keys.
And then when we get to the chorus of the song about sweet bells, just shake them like you would a bell. Okay? Just follow us, okay?
Everybody, let's go get ready.
While shepherds watched their flock by night, all seated on the ground, the angel of the Lord came down and glory shone around. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, They cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells.
Fear not, said he, for mighty dread had seized their troubled burns. Glad tidings of great joy I bring to you and all mankind.
Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. They cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells.
All glory be to God on high, and to the earth be peace. Goodwill henceforth from heaven to men begin and never cease.
Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. They cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells.
Hey, lassies, come to the dance with the Magi.
Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. They cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells. They cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells. They cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells.
We did just as the angel told us and found the baby just as the angel said we would, with Mary his mother and Joseph his father and the baby lying in a manger.
Wait a minute.
I'm confused.
The mother and the father and the baby.
The baby was lying in the manger, not the mother and father.
Oh.
Of course.
That makes sense.
When we saw him,
We told everyone.
What we saw.
And what the angels had told us.
And everyone we told was amazed.
The rational ratio of reasonable repetitive response. That's it. That explains it.
What's it?
What explains what?
Don't you remember? When we left King Herod, he was shaken to the core with fear. And not just him, all of Jerusalem. The whole city was disturbed when they discovered that we were looking for the newborn king of the Jews. It was as if they were experiencing an epidemic of fear.
You can't be serious.
An epidemic?
What epidemic?
You can't catch fear.
Oh, but you can. It's the rational ratio of reasonable repetitive response.
The rational ratio of what?
Reasonable repetitive response.
Exactly. The R number.
The R number.
Yes. I happen to have a few slides. May I see the first slide? Let's say that person A hears or sees something.
Okay.
Then they tell what they hear or they see.
They pass it on.
Yes, like a virus. A verbal virus. Just as catching and just as effective.
So?
How many people they pass it on to? And how many people whom they have passed it on to then pass it on to somebody else? And then how many people they pass it on to is the rational ratio of reasonable repetitive response.
The R number.
Yes, it's very scientific. The R number is how many people are affected by one person. If the R number is 1 or less, one person tells 1, or any portion of 1, then it is simply gossip. Nothing to worry about. As R increases, then we as a city and a nation risk panic and chaos proportionally.
How does that apply here?
Well, let's ask the shepherds. When you saw the baby, did you tell anyone?
Oh yes, we told everyone. Everyone in Bethlehem.
Then how did it reach Jerusalem?
The rational ratio of reasonable repetitive response.
The R number.
Exactly. Next slide, please. If the rational ratio of reasonable repetitive response is 1 or less, then it is merely opinion. Short-lived, no harm done, very little spread.
But after we saw the child, we spread the word concerning what the angels and Mary and Joseph told us about the child to everyone.
All of you?
Yes.
To everyone?
Yes.
And that, my friends, is a pandemic of fear. Panic and chaos. Pandemonium.
But we left the baby rejoicing.
Telling everyone the good news with great joy.
How can something that brings us great joy bring someone else fear?
I know. Flock community.
Flock community what?
Flock community.
Flock community?
Yes. You expose the entire population to the virus, hoping the strong ones, that's us, develop an immunity to the fear.
I think you mean herd immunity?
No. These are sheep. We are shepherds. It's a flock, not a herd.
So what's your point?
My point is, we have an immunity to the fear because of flock immunity.
Herd immunity isn't really a viable theory in this case. I think it really depends on whether you believe in God. If you believe that God exists, then everything he does should bring you joy. But if you don't believe in God, then even the mere chance that he does exist brings fear and confusion. Because you're no longer in full control.
But Herod asked us to return to him.
To tell him where the child is.
If the city is in an epidemic of fear...
What does that mean for us?
What does that mean for them? The child and his parents?
I don't know. But first things first, that star is not going to wait for us. Let's follow the star to the baby and sleep on it. Hopefully then, he'll let us know what to do.
Please, be full with you.
To see the baby?
See the king.
But I thought you shepherds had already seen the child.
That the angels told you about his birth.
And where to find him.
Someone had to stay behind and watch the flocks. So we chose him.
Why?
Poor as we shepherds are, we still had gifts to bring.
I brought some grapes.
I brought fresh baked bread.
And I brought my best little lamb.
And I brought the wine to celebrate.
He had nothing but his drum.
What would a baby want with a drum?
What would a baby want with gold?
or frankincense,
or antibacterial hand wash, myrrh scented.
we really need to change your gift.
What we give to the newborn King of the Jews is not as important as the fact that we give.
What we are really giving is ourselves. The gift is a symbol of that, of who we are. We give who we are to the King.
First of all, who I am.
I repeat, what would a baby want with a drum?
But I want to, because the baby.
Come with us. We'll find a way for you to use your drum to give yourself to the King.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so very much.
We are honoured by your gifts. We are honoured by your presence.
I know you. You're a shepherd from Bethlehem. Thank you for your gift. But we don't know who you are, or why you're here.
We are Magi from the East, remnants of the Jews that did not return to Israel.
We are advisors to the King. We study the heavens, the planets and stars. And one of those stars led us here.
We are scholars. We study the ancient histories and prophecies of our people. We are here because of a prophecy.
A prophecy in Numbers.
A prophecy of Daniel's.
A prophecy of Micah.
But there is still yet a prophecy we have not seen fulfilled.
A prophecy from Isaiah.
Please, will you tell us the story of your child?
It was just a simple day. A day like any other. I just finished my morning prayers. You know, looking back on it, it's wonderful how openly we can speak to God in prayer. And yet, we're so surprised when He speaks back to us. I was just beginning my morning chores when a voice interrupted me. At first, I couldn't tell whether it was a woman's voice or a male's voice, but it was a voice that spoke with authority and clarity. Greetings, you who have found favor above all others. May the Lord be with you. I could feel a light on me before I turned around and saw this being shining brighter than the sun. A man, but not a man. His presence and his word frightened me, and I fell to my knees in fear. And this time he spoke with a gentle reassurance. Do not be afraid, Mary, for the Lord God is very pleased with you, and He has chosen you to conceive and bear a son, and you will call him Jesus. He will be great, and the Lord will give him the throne of David, and he will rule over Jacob's descendants forever. And his kingdom will never end. I knew who the messenger was talking about, the Messiah. We all knew about God's promised Messiah, and were praying and hoping for his coming. But how? I was engaged, but I wasn't married. Were we to move the wedding forward? And was the father to be someone other than Joseph? I don't know why, but I felt the need to express all of this to the messenger. How will this happen? I am unmarried. I'm a virgin. And then he spoke to me of someone we know so very little about. He said, the Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of God Most High will overshadow you. And because of him, your child will be the Son of God. Son of God? So God would be the Father. But how is this possible? But before the words could even come out of my mouth, he replied to me and said, right now, Elizabeth, your relative, who's been unable to conceive, is having a child and is in her 6th month because the Lord made it so, and no word of God ever fails. So this was to happen. But was I willing? Was I strong enough? Bold enough? But he wasn't asking me to be strong or bold. He was asking me to be available. And so I did what I thought was best. I agreed to the word of God because it never fails. I am the servant of the Lord. May your promise be fulfilled to me. And just like that, he was gone, just as quick as he had arrived.
Everything inside me cries for order. Everything inside me wants to hide. Is this shadow an angel or a warrior? If God is pleased with me, why am I so terrified? Someone tell me I'm only dreaming. Somehow help me see with heaven's eyes. And before my head agrees, my heart is on its knees. Holy is he, blessed am I, be born in me, be born in me. Trembling heart, somehow I believe that you chose me. I'll hold you in the beginning, you will hold me in the end. Every moment in the middle, make my heart your Bethlehem, be born in me. All this time we've waited for the promise. All this time you've waited for my arms. Did you wrap yourself inside the unexpected, so we might know that love would go that far? Be born in me, be born in me. Trembling heart, somehow I believe that you chose me. I'll hold you in the beginning, you will hold me in the end. Every moment in the middle, make my heart your Bethlehem, be born in me. I am not brave, I'll never be. The only thing my heart can offer is a that I am willing, I am yours. Oh, 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 oh. Be born in me, be born in me. I'll hold you in the beginning, you will hold me in the end. Every moment in the middle, make my heart your Bethlehem. Be born in me.
I sat there for what seemed an eternity. What now? What happens now? What do I do? Elizabeth. I will go to Elizabeth. I will go to the only woman who is experiencing God's miracle within herself. And the miracle within her will confirm the miracle within me. So I packed a few of my things and I went off to the hill country. And when I arrived at Elizabeth and Zechariah's house, I greeted Elizabeth, and the very sound of my voice, as Elizabeth explained it, the child within her leapt for joy. I hadn't told her a word of my encounter, and yet Elizabeth shouted at me, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child that you will bear. Why am I so blessed that the mother of my Lord would come to me? Blessed is the woman who believes the promise will be fulfilled that God has made to her." And so I stayed there for 3 months, and then I went back to Nazareth, back to Joseph.
3 months?
3 months pregnant. Did you notice the difference?
Are you serious? I'm a man. Of course I didn't notice, but the women in our family did, and they made sure I knew. We all sat there, her family, my family, and Mary told us of her encounter with this messenger, this angel of God. She told us of the miracle of Elizabeth and Zachariah, of Elizabeth's own confirmation, of her own miracle. Everyone looked at me, waiting for me to decide what to do. In our culture, I could have had Mary stoned for the shame that everyone thought she brought to both our families. But I believed her. I believed her words. I thought, perhaps I could divorce her before anyone in the village knew. But knowing the truth of God and acting on the truth of God don't always go hand in hand. I needed time. Time to think. Time to pray. If God had sent an angel to Mary, why couldn't he send one to me to warn me of all this before things happened? To tell me what to do now? And that night he did. In a dream, God sent the same angel to me to tell me not to be afraid, to take Mary as my wife, and that the child would be a boy, God's son. And we were to name him Jesus.
If I'm not mistaken, Jesus in your language means
to save. And as the angel told me, he will save his people from their sins. And so that night I went straight round to Mary's house and took her to my house to be my wife that very night.
the prophecy of Isaiah, from the line of King David. And you are a descendant of David.
Yes, I am. But remember, I'm his adopted father. Promise doesn't apply on me.
Yes, me too. I'm a descendant of David.
Then this baby has fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah twice.
Part of the prophecy. The part about his coming, his birth, his majesty. But there's more. How can a baby save a people? How can a baby redeem a people from sin?
Would take away our grief.
God never promised we would never know grief. Quite the opposite. But he has promised us hope in the midst of grief. Hope through this baby and who he will grow up to be.
But for now, he's just a baby, and a baby that needs to go to sleep. You're welcome to stay while I sing him a lullaby.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, in thy birth, Jesus, Lord, in thy birth.
All is calm and all is bright everywhere, but in your heart tonight they're singing carols of joy and peace, but you feel too far gone and too far out of reach.
Do you still need a reason to celebrate? Then look in that manger. Consider the baby born to be king, the baby born to save. He is the joy of Christmas. The joy of Christmas is not in the lights and the music and the presents and the decorations and the family dinners and the warm, gentle glow you long to feel inside. He is the joy of Christmas. The joy of Christmas is in Jesus. Jesus is the great yes of God.
If you celebrate the celebration, it's lots of colour and music and partying. But at the end of the day, in the silence of the night, it all disappeared. Just like that little puff of breath on a cold winter's night. It's fun and exciting, but only for a moment. All too soon, it'll disappear into the darkness of the night.
But if you celebrate the baby, he will be there with you, to hold you, to comfort you, to dance with you, even in the silence of the night. Even amid this current COVID crisis. That baby grew up to make a way for us to be adopted by God, sons and daughters of the King. And because he defeated death, he can never leave us. He is not like us. It is not in his nature to walk out on us, even if we walk out on him.
I'm going for a walk before we retire for the night. Wander around with my head in the clouds.
What?
To consider that star. Consider this miracle. To consider the baby born this night. It's good to do that from time to time. Wander around with your head in the clouds. Get you closer to God. You want to come?
Somewhere in your silent night, heaven hears the song your broken heart has cried. Hope is here, just lift your head, for love has come to find you somewhere in your silent night. From heaven's height to manger low, there is no distance the Prince of Peace won't go. From manger low to Calvary's hill, when your pain runs deep, his love runs deeper still. He has always loved you, child, and he always will. Somewhere in your silent night, heaven hears the song your broken heart has cried. Hope is here, just lift your head, for love has come to find you somewhere in your silent night. Lift your head, lift your heart. Emmanuel will meet you where you are. He knows your hurt, he knows your name, and you're the very reason that he came. Somewhere in your silent night, heaven hears the song your broken heart has cried. Hope is here, just lift your head, for love has come to find you somewhere in your silent night. Love will find you.